Okay. No gavel. Comrades, you are called to order for the opening ceremonies. Comrades, attention. All members and guests who are veterans will give the hand salute, and all others will place your right hand over your heart. Please join me in giving the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Comrades, we will now be led in prayer by our second junior vice commander, Anna Lutz.
Oh, the chaplain's on. Chaplain Hoffman's on.
You want to ask John?
John, would you like to do the opening prayer?
Certainly, I'd be glad to. Let us pray together. The psalmist declared, "This is the day the Lord has made.
Can't hear you, John.
Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Almighty God, creator, sustainer, accept our thanks.
We're going to have Anna go ahead and give the prayer here. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that.
God be merciful unto us and bless us. Upon us that your way may be known upon earth, and thy saving strength amongst all people. Let the people be glad and sing for joy, for you shall judge them righteously and govern the nations upon earth. Especially do we pray that we may have your guidance in the end, that we may each of us firmly hold the great principles of this organization.
Amen.
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 Right. Good morning. As a reminder, we are here to address only matters specific to our organization. All discussions must be relevant to our mission statement, which I will now read. We are dedicated to a single purpose, empowering veterans to lead high-quality lives with respect and dignity. We accomplish this by ensuring that veterans and their families can access the full range of benefits available to them, fighting for the interests of America's injured heroes on Capitol Hill, and educating the public about the great sacrifices and needs of veterans transitioning back to civilian life. This mission is carried forward by providing free professional assistance to veterans and their families in obtaining benefits and services earned through military service and provided by the Department of Veterans Affairs and other agencies of government, providing outreach concerning its programs, services to the American people generally and to disabled veterans and their families specifically, representing the interests of disabled veterans, their families, their widows, spouses, and their orphans before Congress, the White House, and the judicial branch, as well as state and local government, extending DAV's mission of hope into the communities where these veterans and their families live through a network of state-level departments and local chapters, providing a structure through which disabled veterans can express their compassion for their fellow veterans through a variety of volunteer programs. I now declare this meeting open for transaction of such business as may rightly come before it. Comrade Adjutant, will you call the roll of officers, please?
Sure, why not? Give me just a second. I was trying to capture everybody who's joining us online. So the roll call of officers, Commander Tom Wendel is excused. Senior Vice Commander Tanya Colbert.
Present.
First Junior Vice Commander Shamala Anna Lutz. Schultz. Vice Commander Erwin Schultz here. Tom Wendel is excused. Alternate DEC Chaplain present. Officer Dave Jimmy. Present. Sergeant at Arms Dave excused. Judge Advocate Rowan Schultz still here. People Bethlehem.
Present online.
He's online. He is. Adjutant Shane Learman here. Chapter Service Officers Chris Arrington, Monty Zimmerman, and Fred Scaff. Did not see any of them online or in the room. Assistant Adjutant Jeremy Yost is online. Everyone is accounted for, Comrade Commander, and we have a quorum. Give me just 1 second. Everyone's experiencing some issues.
Chris Harrington here.
With feedback. Again, everybody who is online, please turn off your microphones and mute them so we don't get feedback for everybody else. That someone has already reported a lot of feedback. So our microphone should be the only one that's currently hot. Thanks. Bear with me, everyone. I think I figured out the problem.
Need an opportunity to excel.
Well, you know, when they asked me to put this together with remnants of things we have, everything doesn't always quite work the way we want it to. Oh, you know what? Might not.
Plugged in here.
Oh, no, it's plugged in.
I got this. Floor.
Oh, everything else is working. Sound is not. Of course I did.
Well, just the regular computer speaker work, if you just turn it up all the way.
It won't be very loud.
Right. You can at least hear.
Oh, no, it's not you, it's one of them.
Ah.
All right, we figured out our issue. We will continue to go along. Give me just a second and we will read. Sorry, everybody, with Commander Tom Wendel not being here, everything's falling apart. So blame Tom. That's what I do. When in doubt, blame Tom Wendel.
Should we tell him he's commander forever?
Works for me.
Then it may be immediate ask for him.
Okay.
All right, give me a second. We still have an issue here. Not sure what happened.
You flip some switches.
Yeah, it was a standby and then something turned on and just warming up.
There you go. Okay. We're good.
All right, not sure what we're doing, so bear with us. All right. So
So
we got to all guests and members in attendance. I will read into the record all of the members who signed in the room, and then we'll go through everybody who joined us online. We have G.A. Redding, Shane Learman, Jerry Kristen from Nebraska, Jim Anders, Matthew John, Erwin Schultz, Kathleen Schultz, Shane Sullivan, Anna Lutz, Shamala Capizzi, and Tanya Coper. Online, give me just a tick. I'm trying to figure that out. Online, we have Ron Floyd, Diana Myers, John Berger, Pamela Lewis, Jeremy Yost, Jesse Bendahan, John Hoffman, John Berger, Beatrice Stevenson, Chris Arrington, our department commander, Cynthia Bailey from the Department of Virginia is with us online, and past department commander Denise Williams is online as well with us this morning.
good morning, ladies. I said, good morning, ladies.
And Bob Whaley.
Oh, and Bob, sorry, Bob. I'm trying to read everything on a small screen, so thanks for helping me out. Robert Whaley, Bob Whaley, that is all who we have online joining us this morning. And as a reminder for those online, you can give reports. However, you cannot vote or make motions. Only those in the room can do so. So Chapter 10 has received 2 membership transfers recently. We'll go ahead and address real quick. Chapter 10 received membership transfers from Matthew John, who's currently in the room, and
Matthew?
Martin Caraway. Matthew, why don't you stand up, project, and introduce yourself, sir.
Alrighty. Hi, I'm Matthew John. I just moved out here from St. Paul, Minnesota. I was previously in Chapter 2 there. Relocated. I'm working at the board under Tom now as his assistant. And so by moving out here, they convinced me that Chapter 10 is the best. So that's where I decided to join.
In the universe.
We'll be here pretty much every month that you guys are meeting in person.
Welcome.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, you see how nice he was, not revealing the threats, intimidation, tortures we use to get him here.
Exactly.
He was voluntold.
Exactly, voluntold. As a reminder, everybody, when you speak, make sure you use your name in the audience. That way we can pick it up for the recording. Because we record the entire meeting, we do not keep minutes specifically, we record them. So we also have a Martin Caraway. Martin Caraway is the VSO liaison at the Board of Veterans Appeals for the chairman of the board. Marty is currently also a member from Minnesota and is looking to transfer his membership here because him and his family want to get more involved in our volunteer opportunities.
Okay. So we're looking for a motion to accept these transfers into Chapter 10.
Immediate pass, so moves.
Done.
Seconds?
Second.
Okay, thank you. And I say all in favor?
Ask any discussion.
Any discussion? Now say all in favor. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
And there you have it. The
Eyes are above the nose.
Tradition.
Yes, sir. I will take care of the yes. Immediate pass, Commander. I will follow tradition. Okay. All right. Comrade Adjutant, will you read the minutes of the last meeting?
The minutes of the last meeting are from June 12, 2021. They were recorded, posted to the chapter YouTube channel, our website, and included in a recent newsletters. I move that the minutes be accepted as recorded and posted online.
Immediate pass, seconds.
Second.
So immediate pass is seconded, and any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay. We'll now hear from the treasurer, Chaplain, for the treasurer's report. Sure.
Why don't you come
We'll
up
come
here
up
so that
here.
way people can hear you. You can have my spot. And just speak toward that.
Okay. Well, we have 2 months. We have the end of last fiscal year, June 1st through the 30th. Our beginning balance in June was $18,247.32. We had an income of $500 donation from John Powderly. And we wrote a number of checks for our upcoming conferences, and for Department of Virginia, donation to the Emergency Relief Fund of $1,000. We had another donation to Department of Virginia for homeless veterans of $1,000. To the National Service Foundation, we donated $5,000. And then I found out through the mail that TD Bank charged us a return deposit fee of $20 for the $500 check from John Powerley. I think the second one was sent by mistake, and that's what happened. So that gave us a disbursement of $7,520, leaving us with $11,227.32 for the year. I do have a mistake on here. I need to change my last number. For July 1st through the 31st, which is the first month of our new fiscal year, 22, we had a beginning balance of $11,227.32. Our first income was from the membership disbursement from National, and it was $6,080. We wrote checks for the chapter website, wix.com, for the annual renewal of $132, and another one to the Department of Virginia Convention for reimbursement for Shane for $560.76, meaning our disbursements were $692.76. And when you take into account the income and the checks written, that leaves us with $16,614.56. And I make a motion that you accept my reports, subject to audit.
So we have a motion to accept Kathleen's treasurer's report. Any discussion?
Motion.
Second. And what was your name, sir? I'm sorry.
Jason.
Singh Sullivan, seconds. All those in favor? Motion passes. Oops, lost my spot. Yes. Chaplain's report. Reverend Hoffman, if you're able to speak, do you have anything? Otherwise, opening to the group, is there any reports on sickness or distress?
Can you hear me okay?
We can, sir.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. Remember Jerry Nance in prayer. He needs our support. He was hospitalized back on June 23rd and is currently in rehab, but he's going from one issue to another. He started out with a UTI, and then he came with sepsis, and now a kidney problem. So he's in much need of our support. So if you remember Jerry Nance, appreciate that. And then I meet with my spine surgeon next Wednesday and determine whether or not my spine is healing on time and properly. So I'm hoping to get a good report there. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Reverend Hoffman, and prayers to both of you. Okay, next, the adjutant will read the communications.
We received a couple of things recently, just to go over real quick, that I had handy, and now I can't find them because that's just the way my morning is working. Hey, look, I found them. So, a couple of things to go over real quick. Oops. We received our annual state corporation fee assessment from the Commonwealth of Virginia. We have to submit this annually in reference to staying as a nonprofit corporation or organization within the state of Virginia. Total amount due is $35 by August 31st, as well as the report. The report is current, listing myself, Tom Wendel, and Kathleen as officers of our corporation, and it's already been signed and dated, and I will turn this over to Comrade Chaplain,
Treasurer.
Comrade Treasurer, to go ahead and cut a check and get it sent to where it goes.
That's an increase this year, $10.
Well, they say it's due to a $10 fee from last year, which I'm not aware of, but I also know why fight them and just send them a check. It's $10.
It's a COVID surcharge.
It's a surcharge. The next step we received I received a communication from Fort Knox Self Storage in Falls Church, where we currently keep our storage space, where we keep some chapter brochures, equipment, and a few other things for the chapter. They are letting us know that, yes, we are paid up through November 30th of this year. However, they will be increasing our rent from $158 to $176 per month starting September 1st, even though they said that we are paid through November 30th. So there is really nothing we need to do with this notice at this point. However, I would like to bring up that Commander Wendel and I and Tanya discussed this recently, and we would like to have any officer of the chapter that is available to go to the Fort Knox storage facility with us after the next meeting in September, because we have to purge a few things, and then we can assess how much is left in that facility and whether, one, we need a storage space that size, or two, whether we need a storage space at all, because we're talking about a lot of money that we're just throwing for storage. And generally, we do not use the storage facility very often. Maybe once a year, we actually go in there and get something. So we'll be looking at that in September for the officers that are available. And it brings me to my next communication, which is why we have to
I
purge.
think Shane was. Were you raising your hand on that?
Yeah. Has there been any attempt to negotiate with the person saying, we pay through November, we've been there forever?
We have been there forever. We have attempted to negotiate with them in the past, which had resulted in mixed results at best. And so I think what we're going to do is go there in September and see, do we really need to have the storage facility, or maybe get a smaller space if we determine we still need one, because the majority of the things we have, and that's why I'm getting to this one, we received a communication from the National Communications Director, Rob Lewis, dated in June, letting us know that DAV's headquarters has officially moved and they have a new address. So they request that any DAV material that we currently possess, to include all of that in the storage facility that has the address 3725 Alexandria Pike, Cold Spring, Kentucky, be discarded and thrown away.
Then with all that stuff we have, we won't be
Correct.
stuff.
Now you understand why we want to go take a look at it.
Yeah, we need to go inventory that, probably discard 95% of it.
And however, they have given us an order form for all of the forms to order with the new address of DAV's national headquarters, which is 860 Dulwick Avenue, Erlanger, Kentucky. And we can submit this online and get it fulfilled through fulfillment@dav.org. So we can order replacements for those once we destroy everything we have currently, and then determine what we want to do at that point in reference to the storage facility. That concludes all of the communications I have, Comrade Senior Vice Commander.
Excellent. We'll now have the reports of the committees and officers, and we collectively decided to focus on the National Convention report.
So,
You were warned.
yeah, there you go. Real quick, for those of you who did not attend the National Convention, a few things real quick. One, DAV elected our new national commander, Andy Marshall, combat wounded Vietnam veteran and DAV service officer for well over 30 years. He is our new national commander. And in our after action email that we will send out in the next few days, we will have more information on him and several of the reports we're going to talk about real quick. And I also want to make sure everybody knows that DAV announced we have a new tagline. It is now keeping the promise to to America's veterans. That was changed from fulfilling the promises to the men and women who serve. And again, I'll include all that in the after action report. So that brings us up to the next topic, perspectives. Our Senior Vice Commander, Tanya, and our first Junior Vice Commander, Shamala, is it first or second?
You're first.
First, all right. They both attended our national convention for DAV for the first time. So we will turn the floor over to Tanya to share her opinion and comments on partaking at the national convention.
Okay. So first of all, I appreciate the chapter supporting and funding that trip because it was really enlightening and fun and inspirational and so forth. So when I kind of took notes on my perspective on the event, I kind of narrowed it down to two areas, which is people and then purpose. As far as people, I found it was super inspiring because everybody was really friendly and excited to be there. It was also, I was really inspired by some of the stories that were shared, in particular the Veteran of the Year. And that was such a moving experience. You could actually hear a lot of sniffling and choking up throughout the crowd. And it was very tangible throughout. I was also inspired by some of the words that were given out and the work that people are doing across the country and for DAV. But also, I really enjoyed the story about the kid that got the scholarship. He's a smart, well put together kid that's going to go somewhere. And his commitment to veterans was fantastic. But more importantly, is why the people were there. One of the things that really struck me, there was a common thread. People asking like how long you've been at DAV and why they were there. And I found a lot of people spoke to a similar thing of how DAV saved them. And they saved them because they felt lost or whatever. And DAV provided them community and it provided them purpose. And so, and each person, a lot asked like, you know, what do you enjoy about DAV and so forth. And the answers to that were really broad. And so that leads to purpose. We are very lucky to have so many in this chapter on staff. And I appreciated being able to be introduced to a lot of that at the convention. But I also saw that, you know, that there's definitely the fraternal side and the service side, and both work really hard and come with it with different purpose and perspective. But the combination of the two, I think, is what makes DAV so successful. So I appreciate Tom and Jeremy and Shamala for kind of ingraining me into your group with that, because I met a lot of really amazing people as a result. But then there was kind of the breadth of what DAV is doing. We've talked about it here in different perspectives, but I know with so many of you staffs on the legislative side, we really focused that in this chapter, but I thought it was really inspiring and eye-opening to see the breadth of stuff that DAV is doing. Whether it's the breadth of things that are doing, and it's not just legislative, but the service component of it is huge and varies from area to area and really kind of meets that community where they're at. The ones that kind of struck out to me the most was some of the veterans advocacy piece, and then the care. I went to, so each of there was elements with the legislative stuff, which was really interesting seeing that process. But also there were seminars which were educational, some more than others. Some were a little dry, but the ones that I personally really enjoyed was one on the caregivers seminar. And I met the ladies from Camp Corral, which is a camp program that services children and of those who've been injured or deceased. And they had a lot of talk about how caregivers are impacted by disabled veterans and so forth, and how that support and how that perspective of those caregivers is evolving right now, which is pretty exciting to hear about. I also was encouraged to hear about the American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial efforts that are still underway. I mean, we go out there and clean it on a regular basis. We got recognized with that publicly with a nice video that Shane was spoke through. But also I was excited.
Voluntold. Because Tom said, well, you're the one who gets paid to speak.
Yes.
So I blame, again, Tom, he's not here.
But it was encouraging to hear that they're making considered efforts still to get it fixed. I know we are out there on a regular basis in the flame, and the fountain is really rarely been working the last couple of years. And I kept wondering, like, is there efforts to do that? And it sounds like they are actively engaged in that. And I got that from the board meeting and so forth. So, and then I will talk about membership in a little bit, but Shamala can give her perspective as well.
You can come up here and
But
grab seats.
I highly encourage anybody who has the opportunity, and I don't know if we can talk as a group of how to help support more people going, but I definitely got a lot out of it, and it was worth the time and effort and the funding to do so. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Shamala Capizzi. That was my first time attending as an employee, but also as a member. And so like me and Tanya had the opportunity to go to 2 different workshops or seminars. Well, I was kind of voluntold I had to go to some, but not the point. It was very educational. It was also motivating for me, and in the sense professionally and personally, because now that I understand how the organization works as a whole, as an employee and as a member. So it was, yeah, like she said, it was very moving. It was very emotional. I didn't personally cry, but it was very, it was very, it was enlightening, and it motivated me to get more involved in creating resolutions, but then also motivating and encouraging members if they have any idea within chapter 10, but not just in chapter 10, but also in other chapters, like to bring that forth to your chapter. So whatever you don't think we have, like, and you think that you can improve the lives of veterans and the community, bring it forth. Nothing is ridiculous or silly, so just bring it forth. We're very, and I just realized we're also very lucky to have Tom and like Jeremy and Shane on there, because especially with Shane, he's very, very knowledgeable. And so it was really good. Especially like I was enlightened too and motivated with the women veterans and the women veterans that came out, especially the ones that this was their first time coming out. And it also got me motivated and like passionate to pursue more like women veteran resolutions. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shamala. And I'd just like to point out that when she said ridiculous or silly, she made eye contact directly with this guy. I don't know if that was a Freudian slip in there or what it was. And continuing on with reporting on National Convention, they had the new membership portal there, and Tanya, as our senior vice commander, attended that seminar. And Tanya, do you have anything to share in reference to that?
Yes, so they are in progress. I think they're a little bit further behind than they intended to be, but they're in the next few months, they're going to roll out the new customer relations management tool, which is the new membership portal site. So the current or former membership portal site has been discontinued, and they have moved to the customer relations management tool at this point, and it's going to be going through kind of an iterative evolution over the next probably year, it sounds like. And the goal of that tool is to make it kind of a one-stop shop tool that they can track and create reports and stuff for chapters to help with membership. You will basically have a timeline of your entire involvement with DAV that will kind of be recorded from that and so forth. And so it'll be a really good collective tool. They are currently only making it available to certain members, particularly staff members, et cetera, but that will kind of roll out as they go. And I think it'll be good for even members to reach out into their own information. The other thing they talked about was they have a new member advantages site that has expanded the benefits of being a DAV member. And so there's a new site that you can sign up for. We can add it to the after action report. There's a direct link, but you can also find it under your membership on the DAV website. And it's and because they partnered with this other company, they've expanded the things, including smaller regional benefits, et cetera. And I took a look at it this morning, and there's definitely more than your typical just Avis and flowers and that type of stuff, but it's restaurants and everything else that are, so I recommend taking a look at that and taking advantage of the membership benefits that you are provided.
And again, I'll make sure we include all of this information in our after action email that we do a few days after every meeting. I'll make sure I include links to all of that information. Now, we were going to have Shamala talk about the Women Veterans Committee and said she already spoke about it. Is there anything else you would like to add, young lady? And then the last thing we'll talk about is part of the legislative part of National Convention, and most importantly, resolutions. Resolutions, as Shamala was talking about, really guides our national legislative agenda on things we can support or can't support. So the more resolutions we have that fall within DAV's mission allows the legislative staff, to include myself, to take positions and to get more involved, whether it's in a hearing or meetings before Congress, and advocate for those pieces of legislation that fall in line with the resolutions we have. So the more resolutions, the better. Now, the National Legislative Department, we received a record number this year. 2 years ago, we received over 330, which was a record. This year, we received over 525 resolutions from 22 departments around the country. So there's 52 departments and only 22 sent in, but that's pretty impressive that we received 525. So out of those 525, over 200 of them were approved. And just let me clarify, a lot of those are duplicates. So a lot of the resolutions we received were multiple variations of the same resolution. We get 5 variations of one. So that's why there was about 200, I want to say 220 that were approved. And I'm also excited to say that all of Chapter 10's resolutions that we wrote, approved, and submitted to the department and were approved by the department and made their way to national, all of ours were adopted by the National Convention this year. For that is, and those dealt with everything from women veterans, healthcare, to toxic exposures, to radiation, to PFAS exposure, which is a bad thing in water. I'm not going to get into all the particulars, but it's very exciting to see a lot of what Chapter 10 is doing, making a difference, and were adopted at National Convention this year. So I want to thank everybody who worked on resolutions this year, and that is our executive committee, is the chapter resolution committee. So thank you, everybody, for all your comments, efforts, hard work. We are continuing to make a difference here at Chapter 10. Kind of a real quick service officers report. I'm just going to give some basic information real quick. So Matthew John works at the appeals office. If he wants to join in, he can. But recently, VA, the secretary, made a decision to establish 3 presumptive diseases based on exposure to what they call particulate matter for those veterans who served in Southwest Asia. To make this real simple, in other words, burn pits. However, the regulation, just to be clear, doesn't actually use the phrase burn pits. It says particulate matter. Particulate matter, actually, if you think about it, think about a small globule of water with dust and other toxins attached to it, and you breathe it in. That's essentially what particulate matter is. It could be from burn pits, it could be from dust, it could be from other airborne hazards in I want to say pollutants, but I don't think that's a word. Pollutants. There we go. Pollutants. Sometimes I just make up words. You just got to roll with me here. So they've established that, and they're recognizing 3 diseases: asthma, sinusitis, and rhinitis. For those who served in Southwest Asia, that also includes Afghanistan. That also includes Djibouti in Africa, and Egypt and Syria.
What's the timeline for Egypt?
It has to be a compensable degree within 10 years of your last exposure. I'll provide more information. You're preaching to the choir. I'll provide more information in the follow-up to this, but to your point, when they establish presumptive diseases, there's not a lot that have a limitation on time that it was diagnosed or treated. Now, I've been doing this for over 23 years. When I first started, lung cancer related to Agent Orange exposure had to be to a compensable degree within 30 years of last exposure. Does it currently work that way? No, that's been changed over time. There are only 3 other diseases that are presumptive that have a time requirement on them for developing them to a compensable degree. And those 3 are related to Agent Orange exposure: cora acne,
acute and subacute peripheral neuropathy.
Yep, acute, subacute peripheral neuropathy, and porphyria acuna.
Porphyria cutaneous tarda.
That's the one. So VA, when they made this announcement, said this is a standard thing they do by putting a 10-year restriction on it. However, to be clear, that's BS, because there are no other presumptive diseases that have a 10-year restriction on it for when it was to a compensable degree. Now, they have published a final interim rule, and they are currently processing any of these claims. So if you are a veteran who served during the Persian Gulf and subsequent to that, OIF, OEF in those locations, and you've developed asthma, sinusitis, or rhinitis, you need to establish your claim. You can always reach out and contact us, Chapter 10, and I'm also going to include the contact information for the DAV NSO office in Washington, DC, and the NSO office, our National Service Officers in Roanoke that cover Virginia. I'll make sure all of that information is available. Now, in reference to these 3 being added, there's a 60-day comment period that's currently available for anybody to make comments. So any of you could actually go to the Federal Register and make any comments you want on this rule. To let you know, DAV National Organization is currently reviewing that and looking at making formal comments ourselves, specifically on the 10-year limitation. So I'm not sure how soon that's going to be done or who's writing that, but that will be submitted before the 60-day period ends. Yes, Comrade Schultz.
Comrade Ed, and just for my personal inquiry here, is there any talk of running this under like how they run NEMR, where if they put in a claim for it previously?
NEMR does not apply.
I know, but is there any, is there anything where they might start looking at something like that, separate, not NEMR in and of itself, but saying
VA has made it very clear that there is no way to establish an earlier effective date for these claims other than the date of the regulation that institutes it.
So
now,
even if you file before or denied, you can only get granted from the date the regulation. Yeah, service connection based on date of change of law.
Correct. So what Irwin is referring to is a court case called NEMR that has specifically to do with Agent Orange exposure and previously denied claims and earlier effective dates. That does not apply to this. So your date of claim will be the day you claim it.
Or the date of change of law.
Right, or the date of change of law. So,
because that's going to be a question we're going to get asked a lot.
I fall in that category, so it's a good question.
but yes, that'll work. If you have any questions to anybody out there, please contact the National Service Offices. We'll get those, their contact information so you can reach out and ask about those. And here toward the end of the meeting, we'll ask if there's any questions about anything we discussed and open up to anybody who is currently online. So that brings us to the next portion of our meeting. And before we move on, do you want to see if Cynthia would like to make any comments?
We want to take a pause at this point and open the floor up to our department commander, Cynthia Bailey, if you wanted to make any comments before we move on to unfinished business.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the invite and allow me to be on your call to be with your meeting. It's a pleasure to see you all virtually, and it was a pleasure and honor to see everyone in attendance at National. I currently do not have anything to say, but it's just an honor to be with you guys this morning. That's all.
It's an honor to have you with us, ma'am. Thank you. We can move on to unfinished business.
We can, and Cynthia, I just want to say hi. Yep, I'm that goofy guy.
Okay, so moving on to the audit committee, we were discussing earlier, today we were going to do the annual audit. Jeremy Yost is not able to attend today on vacation, so we would like to appoint Shamala Capizzi to the audit committee. Need a motion? Can we get a motion?
Immediate pass, so moves.
Thank you, Erwin, and can we get a second? Shane
Lerman, adjutant, seconds.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Hey.
Let's talk about this or you? I can't. Either way, go ahead.
All right, I'll go ahead and take it. Just a few events that are coming up, unfinished business to make sure everybody's aware of. Chapter 10 started in March of 2020 last year. A commander's check-in and chat. We started it every Friday and Sunday. Every weekend, it is now gone to every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. I'm sorry, every other Sunday at 7 p.m. And the next one is tomorrow, Sunday, August 22nd at 7 p.m. Links to join can be found in the reminder that we just sent out the other day, Thursday, I believe, not Friday, as well as it can be found on our Facebook and on the website. And it's just a way to engage with your fellow members. We have 2 rules: no politics, 1, 2, no chapter business. It's basically a big giant BS session. And Jim Anders, if there's anybody on there that's got some BS. Yes.
It's Jim.
A lot of our members find it a great way to engage. And for those people who may think using digital online meetings and services is for younger veterans and older veterans aren't going to do it, well, I know that's full of BS, because we have a lot of our members join those meetings, to include Jim. And most importantly, we have a member by the name of Jerry Wolf, who is a 97-year-old World War II veteran and former POW. He is on that meeting every Sunday we have. So he's engaged, he's online. So I don't think anybody should think it's only for this younger generation. It's for everybody who knows how to click a mouse and join the meeting. So if you want to PS with Jerry about his experiences, log in tomorrow night at 7. He's not shy about sharing his stories, but make sure you get there early, because about 7:20 he starts napping. So, and we don't have the heart to wake him up. But he's on there every time we meet. So if you haven't been to one, I encourage you to do so. And we will send out a reminder tomorrow morning with the link for the commander's check-in and chat tomorrow at 7.
I can talk about this one. So our next weekend is our next cleaning of the American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial. I want to thank everybody that showed up last time while we were at National Convention. It sounded like it was a good group still. So thank you for those coming.
Thanks, Anna.
Yes. So we typically need 10 to 15 volunteers. We've been in a little bit smaller group lately, but I think as we've moved out of COVID, it will continue to do so. We meet at 7:30 a.m. bright and early. It's a good time. And then if you want to, some of us go out to breakfast afterwards. It takes about 30 minutes to an hour, probably 30 minutes of cleaning and 30 minutes of BSing. But it's a good time and a good reminder of why we're there to serve. Reminder will go out as well in the morning? No, that one's done.
A reminder for the event will go out early next week, reminding everybody about it. We'll also have the address. The American Veterans Disabled for Life Memorial is located right near or on, depending on how you look at it, Capitol Hill. It's right across the street from the congressional side. It's basically at the
Botanical
and
Gardens.
2nd Street, caddy corner from the Botanical Gardens in downtown DC. The link for the address will be sent out next week. It's a good time, and it's exciting to know we're actually having other people show up and volunteer who aren't just DAV members. We're getting veterans who are currently employees on the Hill actually coming and showing up and volunteering with us, and we're having several people show up and bring their children as well. So, yes, sir.
Shane Sullivan. So you just show up or?
Yep.
Okay, done.
7:30.
Yep, just show
It's a
up.
good time.
We do this in partnership with the National Park Service. They'll have somebody there, usually our friend and Chapter 10 member, Ranger James Pierce, who is a disabled veteran himself. He'll be there usually. He'll have everything available for us, all the equipment we need to scrub and clean the walls. And for those of you who have not done it, I'll be very clear. It's basically scrubbing bird shit off the walls of the memorial. So if you're looking for something fun to do next Saturday morning, hey, it's a good time with a cup of coffee in your hand, let me tell you. Chapter 10 has been doing this for
3 years?
over 4 years. We started in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020 we took off, and we started this year again. So if you have free time Saturday morning and you just want to give back to the rest of your disabled veterans, we hope to see you next Saturday morning at 7:30. Something that Commander Wendel has been talking about a lot lately, and that is previously we were providing officer training and orientation to any members and our current officers and new officers to learn more about the national organization. In the past, we were doing these on 8-hour days, going through a whole lot of instructors and teaching, and it's all done by the officers of Chapter 10. But we decided to do it online this year, so we're going to have our very first class on Wednesday, August 25th at 7 p.m. And instead, the president at that time turned the Department of the Army on them, and veterans were actually killed by active duty members. So it's an important part of our history as disabled veterans to understand the significance of being advocates and doing what we do. That'll be on Wednesday at 7 p.m. All those smiling faces from the Department of Virginia must mean
The DAV Department of Virginia Fall Conference is coming upon us. It's October 13th through the 17th in Chesapeake, Virginia. If you go to the Virginia Department's website, there is a link to do reservations as well as a link to the hotel at their discounted rate. I believe it's a pretty good price of like less than $100. So, and if anybody wants to attend, let us know and we'll meet you there.
And again, we'll have all of that information and links in the after action report. Generally, the Department Executive Committee member, who is currently our Commander Tom Wendel, and the alternate, who is myself, we will be usually in attendance there at all department meetings. If any of the other line officers are interested in attending, please let us know. I'm not sure if Tom and I both will be able to attend or if it'll only be one of us. I'm not sure I'll be able to attend, I just found out I have an event on the 17th as well. That I'll leave town for a few days. So moving on to our next topic. For those of you who know, we still have an opening for the elected position of chapter chaplain. Our Reverend Hoffman, who has been our chaplain for many years, unfortunately has stepped down due to concentration on his health concerns. So if anybody is interested in the position of chaplain, please let us know so we can hold an election at that time and move forward with the position of chapter chaplain.
Okay. New business. So Commander Wendel is starting an online giving tree for homeless veterans at the Washington DC VA Med Center. He's hoping to release that next month. He's going to ask for inputs on kind of what's on there. The idea is that it's going to be on Amazon. It's going to be a wish list of items that we're going to donate to the DC Med Center. They were intending to have their homeless stand down in October with an increase of the Delta variant. That's a little bit up in the air right now. It's an event they usually held in January, and they moved it up earlier into the fall this year. But like I said, with the Delta variant, it's a little bit tentative right now. But regardless, we're going to still do this giving tree. Similar to what we did with the Christmas thing, there'll be a wish list on Amazon, and then we'll fulfill those orders and put that out to the membership wide and beyond. And then he's looking potentially for some input on some of those items, of if that's the best item and so forth, so we can go from there.
And as Tanya just mentioned, previously we did this for needy families within our area during the holidays, but since we're not sure if they're going to have the Winter Haven homeless veterans stand down this year, as Tanya noted, Tom thinks this is a great opportunity for us to do something. So this giving tree will allow anybody to go on Amazon and purchase any of those items. We'll have them shipped specifically to a location, probably Commander Wendel. And then once we get all of those put together, we will take them to the Washington DC VA Medical Center Homeless Veterans Program. Tom has been in contact with them, saying exactly what they need. So anybody will have the ability to participate and purchase any of those items yourself, and they'll be shipped right to us, donated to those. And we're looking at doing it now before the winter hits, because there's things they're going to need before it gets cold. Yes, Jen?
The VA Confirmed Winter Haven is going to be on November 13th this year, and they're going to do it out in their park garage. So they'll only have 20 tables and 5 giveaways. There's no volunteers to be allowed to attend, just staff. And they're not taking donations out right now. They said they'll send out information.
Tom is in contact with the voluntary services at the VA Medical Center. And yes, and she attended our banquet 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So Tom's coordinating with her, so whatever we get, we can give her, and she can give to Winter Haven if it does go on, or to the Homeless Veterans Program at the hospital for anybody who does need something, regardless of the stand down or not. And hopefully we'll be seeing that next month.
Okay, holiday banquet. Our holiday banquet is typically the first Sunday in December. Clearly, we're meeting in person now, but with the Delta variant, we wanted to have a discussion with those present and online of whether or not we should go ahead and keep planning for a December event for dinner, or if we want to wait it a little bit longer to kind of see what happens over the next month or two with the changing landscape with COVID. So we'd like to open it up to the floor for inputs on that.
And real quick, just to let everybody know, the date is held. We have it here at the American Legion Post in the big banquet hall. They automatically hold the first Sunday of December 4th. So we have the date secured. But given what's going on, we kind of want to get a flavor of, do you think we should hold it? Do you think we should wait to pull the trigger? Because we already have the date secured. We just want to know what everybody thinks.
My recommendation, based on current changes and nobody knowing what's really going on, is to hold for 1 month to make a decision.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
And that's December 5th.
So if there's anybody online that has any comments, what was made here is that we wait until the next meeting in September to determine what we do. That way we might have more information about actually what's going on.
Do you want that as a motion, Conrad?
No.
I don't think we need it as a motion. The date's already secured.
I would like to recommend we table that for 1 month.
But so in that month, when you attend next month, just give it some thought of whether or not people would want to take, because we'll probably get a general sense of like, okay, if we're going to go forward, how many would actually be interested in attending.
The situation will develop a little more
Right.
understanding Delta variant, whether or not they're going to be requiring boosters. The rumor mill is going nuts right now
Right.
about things that can happen. Let's give it a month to see what's going on. Everybody think about it and decide what we want to do as a group.
Right, because remember, as Tanya noted, are people going to want to attend? And there are a lot of people who aren't going to feel comfortable attending, right?
Right.
That's really what this is about is,
Even people who are vaccinated aren't comfortable going out.
right.
Right. And that's what we're trying to get a sense of,
So,
you know, our meetings here haven't grown yet. And I think a large part of that is due to COVID. And
It's going to take a while.
It's gonna take for a while.
Get set down and
so get a sense, we just want to get a sense of where people are at. But I agree with waiting a month and getting a little closer before we really see where people are at.
because again, they've already held the date for us. We don't have to worry about that. And if we decide next month to cancel it, we can do something online like we did last year in celebrating and helping some disabled veteran families in need and provide them some things for the holidays like we did last year as well.
Matt gets to be Santa this year.
Okay. Mr.
Yeah,
Gillette?
so to that point, I mean, every day we're getting new information, so it just makes sense just to table it, and we may end up tabling it again next month. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got the flexibility. to
Yeah,
do it.
exactly.
I do think by October you'd have to decide though.
We've got at least another month. We've got some flexibility.
Okay. Good. Thank you. Good of the order. So that's what we're doing now? Okay. Do we do that now or after this? Is this the good over the order? That is the good over the order? Okay. We stand for that?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to have everybody stand at this time. We will have 1 minute of silence. Okay. At this time, we'll have 1 minute of silence will be devoted in honor of our departed comrades. Comrades, will you rise and stand at attention? By the numbers, hand salute.
Two.
Okay. Now, is there anything for the good of the order?
Second.
May they rest in peace.
You did too. You skipped me. All right.
Oh.
I was getting there. No, I was waiting for my moment. You rushed it. Okay. So we have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Point of order, motion to adjourn does not require a second.
Got it.
Before we get to that point, let's see if anybody actually has something for the
I make
good
a
of the order.
motion that the motion to adjourn. See,
I think we have people online. that
Thank you, Jack.
So,
Economic relief for the meeting.
I know. I'm too serious.
all right, so does anybody have anything for the
Good of the order. Online as well. Please speak now. Anybody in the room for the good of the order?
Pamela's got a question.
It was online.
Okay, we have Ms. Lewis.
Yes. Can I ask my question?
Please.
Okay. Will you please call me? I hope you saw my comments in the chat. And you have my phone number?
Shane.
Yes, we have all the information. I'll make sure either Commander Tom Wendel or Tanya returns your call.
How about you? Right after the meeting?
Well, unfortunately, right after the meeting, we have to pack everything up and get out of here.
Okay, but how about later on this afternoon? Because I really need to talk to someone today.
You will get a call later today. How's that?
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Okay. Can we get a motion to adjourn then?
So moved.
All right.
Again.
Reverend Hoffman, would you like to lead us in prayer?
Certainly. Let us pray. Now may the peace of God, which passes all understanding, keep our hearts and minds in the knowledge and love of God, and now unto the eternal and all-wise creator of the universe, the preserver of our nation, be the honor and glory, both now and forever. Amen.
Amen. Comrades,
Amen.
the purpose of our gathering here has been accomplished. But before we close, let us always be mindful of the principles for which this organization stands: comradeship, friendship, loyalty to principle and to our comrades, and devotion to our cause. Before I declare you adjourned, it is fitting and proper that we render honor to the flag of our country. Comrades, before us is the flag of our country. Let us always be true to its ideals and worthy of its exalted traditions. Comrades, attention. By the numbers, hand salute. 2. I now declare this meeting of DAV Arlington-Fairfax Chapter 10 adjourned, and our next meeting will be held on September 18th in person, or you may join online. Thank you.
Tanya, that was the best first meeting for officer that I've ever seen or heard.
Oh, thank you. I got